And I believe we're live. Hello, everyone. Is the screen black? Why is the screen blank? Come on, show the iceberg. There we go. Hello, everyone. It is I, the late Lord Haven, back at it again with another live stream. It's been a week. I forgot to do the Iceberg theory live stream. Every time we have a video, we do a commentary track over the video, and then we also do a theory iceberg, if it's worth it. So today we'll be looking at all of the crazy Sand Snek theories. Feel free to send in your own ones in the chat. I can look at those too. So, if you're wondering why I'm late this time, I have a good excuse. I'm working hard on the upcoming Varys video. So, yeah, there was a particularly laggy meme edit I was trying to do. But this video looks like it's going to be around 20 minutes long, comparing Varys from the show to the eunuch of the books. So that's going to be fun. Before we begin, as always, if you have a question for me or you want to say something to me, feel free to send in a super chat. It really does support the channel because this is my job. However, no live chat on screen today. The live chat should be on the screen. It should be on the screen. But yes, if you go in my description, there's a link to Streamlabs tipping that you can send me a tip, because if you send me a super chat, it's slightly easier to send me a super chat, but obviously YouTube takes a big chunk of that. So if you send me a Streamlabs donation, I receive 100% of it, and YouTube isn't snatching it away from me. So there we go. Shall we begin? I think we should begin. Let's start with the very top of the iceberg. Let's zoom in. Now, this one is Sarella is Alaras. This one's kind of controversial. Some people would argue this theory should be at the very bottom of the iceberg, right? It should be right at the bottom, because some people consider it inconceivable. I'm sympathetic to that, but yeah, Sarella is Alaras. There is a fourth Sand Snek, the fourth daughter of Oberyn Martell, with a female Summer Islander captain, and that daughter is called Sarella Sand. Now, what do we know about Sarella Sand? We know that she is half Dornish, half Summer Islander. We know that she's not currently in Dorne, because Duran mentions how she's not in Dorne, she's playing her own game somewhere. We know that she's interested in history, because when Arianne is thinking back to being a child growing up with all the Sand Snakes, right, like having threesomes with Tyene, having fun with Nymeria, one of her memories is going to visit this old place, and Sarella being there and looking around and being interested in the history and the archaeological side of it. So she's interested in history, she's half Summer Islander, she's good with a bow. Apparently, she's very good with a bow. And she's not currently in Dorne, just a few scraps of information. What's she up to? Where is she? What's she doing? Well, compare her to Alaras the Sphinx. Alaras the... I need some water, my words are getting stuck. Remember to stay hydrated. Alaras the Sphinx is an acolyte of the Citadel, which means he has a few chains, right? And, he's a lad from the Citadel. He befriends Sam Tarly. In fact, Marwyn the Mage says, I want you to look out for Sam Tarly. And he's also friends with Pate, who was recently basically murdered and replaced with a faceless man. The faceless man from A Clash of Kings, right? The Jack and Hagar faceless man persona. What else do we know about Alaras? Well, like I said, couple of chains, also half Summer Islander, has a widow's peak. Now, of course, Oberyn Martell famously has a widow's peak, and a lot of his daughters carry that trait with them. They have a sharp widow's peak, so does Alaras. And perhaps most importantly, now you may not have picked up on this is kind of subtle. George likes to throw in these sort of subtextual, subtle hints and references. He doesn't want to make things too easy for people. But here's something I spotted. Alaras is Sarella backwards. So if that doesn't confirm it, I don't know what does. This is obviously true. If it isn't true, then George is actively trolling, right? If there's a character whose name is Sorella backwards, who is half Summer Islander and half Dornish, and has a widow's peak, and is interested in history, and isn't in Dorne, and just happens to have all these similar traits, and it's just like, no, it's just a guy, then that would be absurd. It would be hilarious, but it would be absurd, and it would be a... No, you know what, having said that, I think I'd respect that. It would be such bullshit, I'd have to respect it. So yes, should we do what we used to do, where we do little polls in the chat to see what the community thinks? Yeah, let's do that. Start a poll. There we are. So, yes or no, is Sorella... Right, I'll put Sorella equals Alaras. Yes or no? The poll is in the chat. Feel free to vote. This one's obvious. I could have made this a bigger meme and like had it at the bottom of the iceberg and pretended, but you know, it's the most obvious one. Next up, flipping that on its head, Alaras is just a guy. So the theory here is that Alaras is just a dude. He's just a guy called Alaras who happens to share a bunch of traits with Sorella and happens to have Sorella's name backwards. It's just a feminine looking dude chilling in Old Town. Like, damn, fair play. This is a theory, I believe, a theory that comes from Order of the Green Hand, and it's quite a famous meme. Obviously it's not true, but it would kind of be funny if it were true. So, yeah, okay, I'm going to end this poll now, and I'll do the next one. It's a solid win. 30 votes in, 80% say yes, Sorella is in fact Alaras, 20% say no. Who the fuck is voting no? But guess what? We're going to throw in another cheeky poll. That one being Alaras equals a random guy. Yes or no? The poll is out. You can vote in this one as well. Okay, now, and this is a lovely drawing of Sorella Sand. Now we are moving, let's zoom this in a bit, further down the iceberg. Ooh. Well, actually, no, that we were in the bright blue sky. Now we're going down to the tip of the iceberg. The obvious theories are out of the way. Let's go to the tip. Here we have anime Darkstar, Sir Gerald Dane himself. And the theory is Obara will kill Darkstar. So, we know that the Sand Snakes have all been sent off on their own individual quests. And Obara Sand, the eldest, the spear-wielding, strong one, basically that one sister from Encanto, has been sent off to deal with Darkstar, along with Sir Balon Swan of the Kingsguard, who was sent down to Dawn to deliver the alleged skull of the mountain to prove he was dead, probably not the mountain skull at all. And those two will be fighting Darkstar with the camera that rides, the POV character, Aereo Hotar, who's the captain of Duran Martell's household guard. Big old axe, he's Norvoshi. And so that fun little trio will be heading out to fight Darkstar. So this theory is that we will see Aereo's point of view of these characters fighting Darkstar, and Obara will be the one to kill him with her spear. Now, I'm not entirely sure what role Darkstar is going to play. I've spoken a bit about this in my Dark Theories live streams like a year ago. I would be very surprised if there's an entire chapter dedicated to the three of them hunting down Darkstar, and it ends with literally just killing Darkstar. That would be very odd. My assumption is that Darkstar is getting away and will play a larger role, and he's probably wielding Dawn, and that will come into the story in some capacity. You know, is he going to act like a black mirror to Sir Arthur Dane? Maybe he will join someone's Kingsguard, young Griff's Kingsguard, Daenerys' Kingsguard, to kind of mirror Arthur Dane. He'll be like a dark sword in the morning. I don't know. But I'd be very surprised if he dies. So I'm going to say this one's very unlikely. I don't think Obara's going to kill him. I don't think Balon or Aereo will kill him. Because then what happens? Honestly, I think that chapter will probably be Aereo's, potentially his only chapter. And his last one. He will probably get killed by Darkstar, as will Obara. So that goes on to the next theory underneath, which is Darkstar will kill Obara, I think is more likely than the other way around. But there is another thing that may happen that we'll get into as we go further down the iceberg. But yes, to start with, I keep reading that as Obama. Darkstar will, yeah, he'll get away for sure. And I think the Sand Snakes are probably doomed to grisly fates, as I say in my video, because Alaria's whole speech about violence begetting violence and the destructive cycle, the destructiveness of that cycle, I think it's inevitable that these, angry young women who are looking for violent revenge will inevitably meet a violent end, and then the cycle will continue,